Hello and welcome to the Everything is Black and White podcast on YouTube. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It's time for another talking point from the game that's just gone. Newcastle United 2, Burnley 0. Just walking up to the office again. I'm going to walk past the monument. You might remember the last time I did this, there was a lady singing a Celine Dion classic, so we'll see if she's back and what she's singing this morning. But yes, Newcastle United 2, Burnley 0, and a few talking points to take away from the game. Of course, ahead of Champions League back at St James Park. PSG the visitors on Wednesday, but plenty of that to come later this week. We'll start with point number one from the Burnley game, and it is the fact that pretty much everyone is now looking ahead to Wednesday and the Champions League, and you can kind of sense it in the stadium really. Saturday, you know, as much as Eddie Howe were claiming the focus was on Saturday, you know, the Champions League was definitely coming into at least everyone's thinking who was in the terraces and watching at home and covering and watching the game and following the game live. You know, it was a very kind of subdued atmosphere, I felt. And as soon as that second goal went in, the penalty from Isaac, the atmosphere changed and it became a bit more jovial, I felt. And I think people could then allow themselves to show what I think they were feeling inside for you know, the hour 70 minutes beforehand, and that was the Champions League and PSG on Wednesday. Now, Newcastle, thankfully, the players in the squad didn't let any complacency slip in, because this was a banana skin fixture. Burnley 1 point this season, probably going to go down. On the evidence of what we saw on Saturday, definitely going down actually. Played nice football, but you know, it's not working for them. And it was a banana skin. It was very much likely that Newcastle United, you know, would beat Sheffield United 8-0, beat Man City, dump them out of the cup, lose to Burnley, and then beat PSG. It would have been typical Newcastle United. But as it is, this is Newcastle United that does what a good team should, if that makes sense. And that's in terms of not messing up, you know, beating the teams you should do because they're better, they're favourites. And that's all down to Eddie Howe, you know, making sure that the team are professional, and they were very professional on Saturday. It was a professional win, wasn't it, really? And that leads me on to point number two. You know, and it sounds really strange saying this, but had the whistle gone when Isaac put the penalty in the back of the net, had the game been called then, I wouldn't have minded. I wasn't bored, but I was just a bit like, meh. And I think what it is that usually when you're following Newcastle United, you know, you're always expecting something to go wrong, or you're always expecting kind of a team to get back into it. But on Saturday, Newcastle were just really good. Burnley were just rubbish. And the game kind of ran out of energy. And then after the second goal went in, you could see the players' minds were thinking about Wednesday. No one wanted to gamble, no one wanted to run forward, no one wanted to get into the challenge. And it made for quite a, well, let's say quite a dull kind of finish to the game. And I do wonder whether there's you know, good teams have an air of expectancy about them. You expect, a good team expects to beat a Burnley, they expect to beat Sheffield United. And in truth, actually the atmosphere after the game, it was a little bit subdued. And I do wonder if that's kind of an ingredient of a good team, because you've gone up against a rubbish team, you've beaten a rubbish team, as you expected to do. Yeah, it doesn't really set the fire burning inside you, and it's quite something to be in that position. It's like the first time I've felt it as a fan, and it's quite something that I think Newcastle are going to have to get used to. Newcastle fans are going to have to get used to that feeling of meeting expectation and things not going wrong. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the game, especially those last 20 minutes. Were you feeling the same thing? Point number three is all about Sean Longstaff. He is the key. Sean Longstaff is the key. He's the understated key to that midfield. He allows Bruno to flourish. He just does everything that's so simple. There's no clever flicks, there's no tricks. He just does what he has to do. The pass is always the simple one, always the right one. You know, there's no trying the 40-yard pass unless it's on. There's no back heels, no Cruyff turns. He just does exactly what you want from a man in the midfield who's there to pull the strings and then allow, you know, the likes of Bruno, who's got a bit more flair about him to do what he does. And it's another tremendous performance from Sean Longstaff. I felt, and that cross that he put into the back post of Elliot Anderson was superb. And you know, he's got the running about him, he's got the legs about him, and he's not just a man who sits in the centre, but he can do it all. And since he's come back into the side, I don't think there's any surprise Newcastle's midfield has got better. And for me, he's the key. He's the key. You know, games are won in the midfield, and for Newcastle United to win the midfield, they need Sean Longstaff. He's been absolutely tremendous. So another fantastic performance from Sean Longstaff. The next point, number 4, it's about Elliot Anderson. I felt it was a big game for Elliot Anderson on Saturday, because out of the 3 players in midfield who are going to start on Wednesday against PSG, the 3 who've started recently, Bruno, Longstaff and Anderson, Anderson's place is most at risk. He's most in the threat. But he put in such a good performance against Burnley that if he doesn't start against PSG, I think he'll feel really hard done by. You know, he's coming to this team because of injury, and he's taken his opportunity, and he hasn't looked back. He's looked properly at home. He's looked like he's been doing it for years and years, and he'll be really hard done by if he doesn't get into the side on Wednesday. Now look, the only thing's missing is goals, and he was very close to getting that first goal. It was a tremendous save from Trafford. I mean, a really good reactionary save. People saying he should have put it in the back of the net without fail. I don't agree. I mean, he's watched that come in, he's got the header down, and it's just a tremendous save. The goals will come. He's got everything else about him. He's up and down the pitch. He's strong in the challenge. He's really good at getting his foot in. He can pick a pass, both simple and the kind of clever, and he's just got that intent to run forward. I think he's done really well since coming in, and I hope he starts against PSG on Wednesday. I mean, it's going to be interesting who does come in that midfield. A totally different game to the games they've been playing recently. But I think Anderson's earned his spot, and I can't wait to see the team sheet, and hopefully he gets the nod. The final point I'm going to make is all about, well, there's a word for Nick Pope being switched on, because he has nothing to do, and he makes a tremendous save at the end. Obviously, he's kept Newcastle from going 1-0 behind early on. He's just always switched on. Nothing to do, always switched on when called upon. But the point I'm going to make is about the strikers, because clearly Newcastle are having to manage Callum Wilson. He's picked up a hamstring. He missed the last 2 games against City, against Burnley. You want him in the squad against PSG. We'll wait to see what Eddie Howe says about that. You've got Alexander Isak, who picked up a knock against City, late fitness test. Managed to come in against Burnley, scores obviously. He was looking quite tired towards the end. Now, Newcastle are clearly doing a great job managing Callum Wilson's fitness. We know his injury record isn't the best, but they're doing their best to kind of just, patch him up and make sure he gets through the games, and maybe they're picking and choosing the games he plays. Look, he's going to want to play against PSG. Hopefully he's fit, because Newcastle need him either starting or on the bench. But I do wonder whether this just reaffirms that they should have signed a 3rd striker, because if you're managing Callum Wilson and you're trying to keep him fit, but you're having to hand-pick the games he plays, or you can only do 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there, you need a 3rd out-and-out striker. People say, you've got Anthony Gordon. Okay, granted, you've got Anthony Gordon, but he's flourishing out on the left. You don't want to move your in-form player, your star player, out from the position in which he's performing so well. That 3rd striker would make this whole managing Wilson a little bit easier, and I wonder whether in January they're going to go and do that. But then you look at the 2 kids on loan in Holland, they're flourishing. I mean, Minter scored again for Feyenoord over the weekend. I wonder, and I'm doubtful, I don't think there is, but if there's a release clause from his loan deal, maybe they can activate that in January and bring him back, because he's looking lively, and Newcastle just need a 3rd out-and-out striker just to help manage Wilson and Isak. But as it is, great to see Isak get on the score sheet. Hopefully Wilson missing the last 2 games will allow him to play some part on Wednesday, because you've got 2 fantastic strikers competing for 1 spot in the side. They're brilliant, and the competition that they're giving each other is fantastic. So hopefully they can both play a part on Wednesday. But yeah, that's been the talking points from Newcastle United 2, Burnley 0. Now it's all about the build-up to PSG on Wednesday. Make sure you hit subscribe on the Everything's Black and White podcast. Plenty of content coming your way to help build up to that game. It's been a pleasure. I've been Andrew Musgrove. Give this video a thumbs up.